All right, Mr. T is back. Once again, we are still working on, this is Unit 3. Whoops, now you can see it. Unit 3, Worksheet C, Triangle Congruence. Okay, so when I last left you off, we were on number 4. So remember, what we are doing in this problem is we are comparing the two triangles, and I'm outlining the two triangles in two different colors. I'll do that for number 4. We have that triangle which I just outlined in green, and we are comparing it to the triangle that I'm outlining in orange. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to determine whether they can be proven congruent, if possible, by the side, the side, angle, side, the angle, angle, side, angle, side, angle, or the HL rule, and we're going to write our answer in the box. So you can see right here, so here's my two triangles, and the first thing that I notice is that both of the triangles are right triangles, okay? So we know that we have right triangles, which means that we do have a pair of equal angles, okay? And then we have this tick mark right here, and we have this tick mark right here, which means that those two sides are equal to each other. Okay, so, and then if you also notice, you notice that this side right here, this diagonal going right through the middle of the shape, it has, that side right there is equal to itself in both of the triangles. So you notice that side right there, it's in the green triangle, but it's also in the orange triangle, and it's the same triangle. Okay, so what do we have? Well, we have a right triangle. We have this side is equal to both of these triangles. That's a hypotenuse. And then we have these two sides are equal, and those are legs. So these two triangles in number 4 would be congruent because of HL. Moving on to number 5, the two triangles that we are comparing would be this triangle right here, which I'm outlining in green, and then the other triangle to the right of it, which I am outlining in orange. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's see what's marked as congruent. So you can see we have a tick mark here, and we have a tick mark here, so that tells me that those two sides are congruent to each other, so I'm going to put an S over here. And then we have a double tick mark here and here, so that tells me that we have another set of sides that are equal. So right now I have two sides that are equal to each other in the two triangles in number 5. Well, there is no side-side rule, so I have to come up with more information. So what else is equal to each other in this triangle? And if you notice, that angle and that angle would have to be equal to each other because those two angles are vertical angles, and vertical angles are always equal to each other. Okay, so I have an A. Alright, so I have two sides and I have an A. Now the question is if I have two sides and an A, that means it could be angle side side, or it could be side angle side. Okay, well, let's see which one it is. Side angle side means that the angle that are equal are in between the two sides, and that's not the case. That'd be that angle right there, and that angle right there. So this is angle side angle. Or I'm sorry, angle side side, and that is not a rule. So in number 5, these two triangles would be not congruent. And if you want to, you could write NEI. There's not enough information for me to figure these out. Okay, moving on to number 6. So I won't highlight the two triangles because the two triangles we're talking about in number 6 are pretty straightforward. So what do we know is congruent? Well, we know that we have a tick mark there and we have a tick mark there. So that is saying that side is equal to that side, so we have a side, pair of sides that's equal. And then we know that that angle right there at the tip is equal to that angle there by those arcs, okay? So we have a pair of equal angles. So based on the markings, the tick marks and those marks there, we have a side and an angle that's equal. The problem is there is no side angle rule, or there is no angle side rule. So I have to come up with more information. And I'm going to get that more information from these marks right here. Notice these arrows. So remember, the arrows don't tell us that the lines are congruent. The arrows tell me that no matter how long the lines are, so in other words, if I kept extending the lines out, they're going to be parallel to each other. So these two lines will never touch. Then if you notice, if I took this line right here, and if I extended it up, that gives me a transversal, this would be a transversal, going through intersecting two parallel lines. So that means that that angle inside that triangle has to be equal to that angle inside that triangle, because those are corresponding angles, and I'll write that in there so you can see it. So those are corresponding angles right there and right there. Corresponding angles are equal if the lines are parallel, so that gives me another A. So if you notice, I have two A's and I have an S. So what are my options with two sets of equal angles and one set of equal sides? It means I could have angle, side, angle, or I could have angle, angle, side. And both of those are valid postulates or rules to say the triangles are congruent. Well, let's see. Is the side in between the two angles? If it is, it's angle, side, angle. So there's my side, there's my two angles. You can see the side is in between the two angles, so number 6 is angle, side, angle. Okay, moving up to number 7 right here. Good, you can see it. So the two triangles that we're talking about, I'll outline them in this problem because they might be a little bit confusing because they kind of they share something. So there's one of the triangles there. Here's the other triangle that I'm comparing with it right there. And right away you should notice that they share this side right here. So that side right there is equal to itself in both of the triangles. And they share another side right here. So I have two sets of equal sides. And these marks tell me they share an equal angle. So I have two sets of equal sides and one set of equal angles. So what could the rule be? Well, it could be side, angle, side, or it could be nothing. If you have two sides and one angle, it has to be this, okay? If it's angle, side, side, that's not a rule. So that would make them not congruent. Well, side, angle, side, as you know, the way that it's written, notice the way that it's written is, the angle is in between the two sides. So is that angle in between these two sides? And it is, so number 7 is side, angle, side. Number 8 right here. Okay, so what do we notice about number 8? Well, the first thing that you should notice is that side is marked the same as that side, so I have a set of equal sides. I have the double tick marks here and here, so that tells me I have another set of equal sides. And based on the tick marks, that's all the information that I have from the given tick marks, okay? Sides is not a rule, so I have to come up with something else. And you should notice that this third side right here, it's equal to itself in both of the triangles, so it has to be equal. So number 8, the triangles are congruent because of the side postulate or rule, however you want to say it. Okay, number 9. So if you notice in number 9, here are my two triangles, okay, and if you should notice right away that the two triangles are right triangles. So I know that I have right triangles. So whenever you see right triangles, you're always looking to see, would HL work, okay? So in other words, are the hypotenuses equal? And they are with these double tick marks. And is there one set of equal legs? And they are with that single tick mark right there. So you can see that number 9, these two triangles are congruent because of the hypotenuse and one set of leg rule, which we call the HL rule. Okay, however, or some of you may have noticed that that angle and that angle are vertical angles, so those are also equal. So you actually could have used the angle side rule in this problem right here. So if you said either one of those answers for number 9, either one of them is an acceptable answer. Okay, moving on to number 10. So what do the two triangles have in common based on the marks? Well, we have a tick mark here and we have a tick mark here, so that means we have a set of equal sides. We have an arc here and we have an arc here. That's telling me I have a set of equal angles. Okay, and that's it. So based on the tick marks, that's it. However, there has to be more information. There's no AS rule or no SA rule. Okay, so is there anything else that is equal? And you should see that we have our vertical angles right here in this little part where the two triangles where they intersect. So those are vertical angles. So I have another A. So I have two A's and I have an S. So that means it could be angle, side, angle, or it could be the angle, side rule. These triangles could be congruent. So which rule applies? Well, the angle, side, angle rule states that the side has to be in between the two angles. We call that the included side. You can see there's my side. It is not in between the two angles in either triangle. So it's not angle, side, angle. Angle, angle, side means the side that is equal is opposite the two angles. And you should see that that side is opposite the two angles in both triangles. So number 10, angle, angle, side. Okay, last two, number 11. So what do we know in number 11 in the two triangles? Well, we know that that angle is the same as that angle. So we have a set of equal angles, so I'm going to put an A. And then you should also notice that that side right there, it is equal to itself in both of the triangles, so we have an S. And that is it. There is no other information I can get from this picture, so there is no AS rule or SA rule. So number 11, there is not enough information. And you could just write NEI for not enough information. So that means that we cannot determine if the two triangles in number 11 are congruent. And the last one, number 12, so we have these two triangles. Let's compare what's marked as the same. We have a tick mark here, and we have a tick mark here. That tells me we have a set of equal sides. We have a double tick mark, and we have a double tick mark. That tells me we have another set of equal sides in the triangle. And then we have these arrows. Okay, now once again, you got to know the arrows mean that the lines are parallel. So once again, that means that the lines aren't necessarily equal to each other. All it means is that they will never ever meet. So no matter how far you extend them, they'll never meet. Okay, but we do have parallel lines. So remember, when you have parallel lines, you want to find a transversal. And here's my transversal right there. That line that intersects the parallel lines is the transversal. So that makes that angle the same as that angle. Why are those two angles congruent? Well, that is what we call alternate interior angles. Okay, so alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are going to be equal if the lines are parallel, and they are. So I have a set of equal angles. So I have two S's and an A. If you have two S's and an A, the only valid reason to show the triangles are congruent is because of side angle side. And it is side angle side if the angle is in between the two sides. You could see that angle is in between the two sides. So number 12, side angle side would work. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to check this the next day. Talk to you guys later.